I think there's no way that this is just a coincidence.
We're really going through it, aren't we? Welcome back to Moose and Loose. My name's David. Today, we've got mainstream media running 24/7 propaganda and slander against Pierre Poilievre, trying to destroy him before his leadership review. This is an ugly thing. Let's jump into this. Starting this one off, we got a new poll from Leger here. This is 43% Liberal, 38% Conservative, 7 and 4. Green Party getting a boost of 3 in here, which is interesting. I guess some people resonating with Elizabeth May, which is a bizarre statement to say. We got an update on the BC ostrich situation. They're all dead. That's right. The CFIA have murdered 300-400 ostriches. These people are monsters. These people will go down as absolute disgrace in Canadian history. When the news brags about murder, we might have a problem. Yeah, that is a problem. These ostriches were not a harm to anyone except for pharmaceutical companies. Moving ahead, we got Mark Carney making jokes about the healthcare system. This cavalier, arrogant attitude doesn't sit well with me.
This budget takes pragmatic, responsible choices to right-size government while protecting the essential social programs that every Canadian, the programs that give every Canadian a fair chance to get ahead. That includes childcare, dental care, pharmacy care, the National School Food Program, as well as the health, education, and social transfers on which the Deputy Minister of Finance of Ontario and his colleagues across the country rely. We protected it. Did you say thank you? No. Because that was a choice. To govern is to choose. But this is important. It's important for our school.
Yeah, I get it's a joke. It's just not funny because we know this is what's going on here. He does make decisions based on who's scratching his back and what he gets from it. Gross. What's also gross is this. Barbara Ball posting this shocking stabbing outside Ottawa's Rideau Centre. The victim was in a wheelchair. That's right, in a wheelchair. This happened just steps from Parliament Hill during shopping hours. This is the state of Canada. This is also the state of Canada. We got breaking. BC Conservative riding presidents and organizers are calling for John Rustad's removal. John Rustad is a Liberal, former Liberal, who started the Conservative Party in BC, gained a lot of popularity, and then everyone realized that John Rustad is a Liberal. Segment here, we've got Stephanie Ha, who is the supervising producer at CTV News, but tweets are her own views, stating that sources tell CTV News that General had conversations with senior staffers from Carney's office as recently as Wednesday, after which the impression was that General would be crossing the floor. Amid the speculation, a source close to General tells CTV News that Conservative Party officials made it known that there would be consequences if he did cross the floor. Well, what is this? This is not reporting. Either cite real sources, real people, real names, real interviews, or don't put out this crap. And the way they word this, there'll be consequences. Yeah, there'll be consequences. Look what happened with Chris D'Entremont. I just got some video sent to me of him giving a speech, which I'll be putting on the second channel, which basically debunks his own words, his own stance. He gave a speech to his constituents, laying out his values, who he's fighting for, and it was all a lie. Yeah, there'd be consequences. But of course, the media now have spun this because of these rumors that they're posting here, unfounded rumors with no sources and no evidence, trying to make Pierre Poilievre look like some bad guy that's running the ship like some sort of mobster. When in reality, Matt made this post. I want to make this clear. There's no coercion involved in my decision to resign. I consider my colleagues in the Conservative Party very close friends, and I will miss them dearly. Since my resignation this evening, I had a great conversation with Pierre Poilievre, who wished me all the best, as I do him. I ran under his leadership in hopes we would form a government that would offer hope to Canadians. I wish him and all my colleagues the best as they raise the cost living issues facing Canadians. To reiterate, this long-standing decision reflects my desire to spend more time with my family. My exact date of departure will be determined at a later date, but likely this spring. The Liberals, Sharon Carr, all these people smearing propaganda all over social media, trying to twist this that Pierre Poilievre is some sort of mobster, and other rumors saying that he just couldn't stand being in the government with Mark Carney running Canada so poorly. He just had enough of this. I mean, his own words are here. He wants to spend time with his family over in BC. We've got Rupa Subramania posting, Conservative Party Canada is not going to recover from this anytime soon. You're not going to win people by threatening consequences over those who wish to leave. Lesson, you live in an echo chamber informed by low IQ influencers and yes men at your own peril. I take offense to this. I spend a lot of time. I spend 13 hours a day working. As I responded here, please explain how a low IQ influencer has done more journalism than you ever have. I'm not even a journalist. If you look at her account, what's the kind of stuff she posts? Low IQ woke right effect. Correct usage of the word immigrant for low IQ woke bigots outraging in my mentions. this. Where does she work? The Free Press. This is an American company, American media outlet. She's stationed in Ottawa, posting her propaganda, tips and editorial submissions. If you want to leave feedback about her reporting, please email letters@thefp.com. Now, I'm not sure I'll be able to figure out how to submit a complaint letter being such a low IQ influencer, but I'll let you guys know if I figure it out. Meanwhile, we've got Andrew Scheer here, bringing up the real truth, what's going on.
I can guarantee you, okay, you stop 100 people in any main street in this country. They are uninterested in palace intrigue. They are uninterested in parliamentary press gallery reporting on liberal-sourced rumors. They are interested in facts that will affect their life. And the facts of this budget are their costs are going to go up. Inflation is already on the rise. Food inflation is already way over budget. There are alarm bells being sounded by everybody from the parliamentary budget officer to the Bank of Canada governor to credit rating agencies saying that the path that Mark Carney has put us on is unsustainable. That's what Conservatives are focused on. We are going to hold this government to account. We're going to fight to bring down prices, and we're not going to let liberal sources put out rumors to distract from a terrible budget that Canadians are giving a giant thumbs down to. Thank you very much.
That's just it. This budget is so bad that they fabricated all this bullcrap to hide it, and Canadians will pay the price.
News of Generou's resignation comes just days after Nova Scotia MP Chris d'Entremont crossed the floor to join the Liberals.
He was a good member of Parliament. He served Edmonton and Alberta well, and he was a valued member of our team, and he'll be missed.
I understand. He's at a point in his life where he's just ready to move on. And, he's been an MP for over 10 years. He's been a good MP, a good solid MP, great teammate. He supports this party. He supports our caucus. We all wish him well.
It's a sad day to see him go, but I am very happy for him and the choices that he's made.
I don't know, but losing two people in 2 days is not a great thing for any leader.
I think he was dealing with some criticism within his own party, and that was difficult for him.
Well, it says he doesn't have confidence in his Conservative Party and the leadership. That's what it says to me.
I think there's no way that this is just a coincidence. It was literally a day after another colleague did it. This, again, comes back to the fact that the Conservative Party of Canada no longer has room within its party for progressive views. And that's why you're seeing progressive members of parliament who are conservatives systematically, one by one, resign from the party. And I, quite frankly, wouldn't be surprised if you see more of that happen.
2 resignations in as many days, not looking good for the Conservatives and their leader.
Yeah, listen, and we heard all kinds of clips from all sorts of politicians or all sorts of party and political standing. But cut out all the spin, cut out all the speculation, and we know this. In the middle of a budget vote, in the middle of a confidence vote in a minority parliament, losing 2 members of parliament is indisputably a bad week. And Pierre Poilievre has had a bad week, a week that was supposed to be a real test for Mark Carney, and it's now turned into a time of turmoil for Pierre Poilievre.
Whether Scott wants to make the point or not, he just did. A test for Mark Carney, and the easiest way to hide what's going on with his awful budget is just run this slanderous crap, get all these liberal pundits to put out bull crap, slander stuff, change the narrative in Canada because they have so much influence, because they get paid by the government. They wanted to hide how bad Mark Carney's budget is. It is really deplorable what they're doing. We have Canadians sleeping in the streets, Canadians who can't afford to eat, and this is what they're doing.
Canadians are struggling with affordability. A new survey says 1 in 5 Canadians have skipped paying a bill so they can buy groceries. According to Nano's research, adults under 55 are 4 times more likely to put off payments for their cars, credit cards, and electricity bills to buy food. The survey found just over 18% of those aged 18 to 34 said they missed a bill sometimes or often. The figure drops to 4.2% for those 55 and older. Inflation and high housing costs are key factors contributing to the generational divide.
That's what's really going on in Canada. They're using all of this to hide what's going on so they can keep their cushy, big paychecks, and Mark Carney can get even richer.
Now that these fissures are out in the public, Scott, do you see more such resignations in the near future?
Well, that is a big source of speculation. And let me just say, Parliament Hill is awash with rumors and dark rumblings of all kinds of ongoings. More MPs may cross the floor. There's greater dissatisfaction within the Conservative caucus toward Pierre Poilievre. There is resentment, people say, as to how the leader's office has handled the past 2 days. Perhaps offering threats, being hard on members to try to keep them in line. Who knows? Who knows what's going on?
And that's just it. Who knows? So when you have, like we saw earlier here, you have Gerritsen and a couple other liberals here, and then the Conservatives at the beginning giving their comments. That's them in Parliament giving their comments attached to a face. This is not some hidden rumor. It's somebody standing on camera and speaking, as opposed to these rumors getting pushed out there by Sharon Kerr, Stephanie Ha, with no evidence. This isn't how our country should run. We shouldn't have media crafting the narrative of what Canadians should be thinking. It should be honest. It should be based on fact, and that's why all media should be defunded. You know, most of these pundits and stuff, they would never make it. If they had to step over into this side and do it themselves, they would never make it. They're a bunch of lazy journalists pushing propaganda.
The Conservatives say they plugged their leaks, they've righted the ship, there will be no more defections. They had better hope that that's true, because this is the number that matters. One vote is all that now separates Mark Carney from a de facto working majority government in the House of Commons. And just understand, if you're Pierre Poilievre and you lost the election, you lost your seat, you're losing members of Parliament, and if you should cap this period by losing the minority and turning it into a majority for Mark Carney, that will be a severe and lasting blow to his leadership.
And I agree. It's going to be tough for Pierre going forward here, especially if Mark Carney's able to sway someone else over. There's talk of Elizabeth May. What is Pierre doing right now? He's still doubling down on the problems Canadians face versus all the slanderous bullcrap the Liberals keep spewing on mainstream media.
We have literally everything it takes to have the highest quality of living. And those kinds of resources and the economic data that flows from it means real things to real people. In such an economy, it would be easy for young people to afford homes. Single mothers would walk down grocery aisles and fill their cart with the things they want their children to eat, not the things that they can afford and don't have to turn back when they get to the checkout because the prices are too high. A country like the one I've described would mean that everybody would own a home with a yard, and every single night there'd be meat and potatoes on the dinner table. Those are the practical benefits that come from having a strong economy that produces low-cost but high-quality goods. That was the promise of Canada. But that promise is now broken. Look around you. Housing costs have more than doubled in the last 10 years, rising faster than in any other G7 country. In fact, housing prices have increased about 30% faster than incomes, the biggest gap of any OECD nation. We now have an entire generation, for the first time ever, that believes they will never be able to afford a home. This has never happened before. Food bank use has more than doubled in the last 10 years.
If you listen to what Pierre's talking about here, housing, food bank usage, these are all problems that the older Liberals, which is the majority of Carney voters, don't have a problem with. It's one, and it's the biggest group of voters in Canada. One group of voters in Canada is essentially ruining our country. But Pierre's going to pick up more young voters and more people going through hardship, the ones who actually wake up and realize what's going on. The problem is can he endure all this onslaught from the media attacking him left, right, and center? It's a difficult task when you have multiple millions of dollars of media slander every single day. Just think of how strong this guy is. He is enduring all this garbage day after day. The CBC, if you listen to their coverage, I'm not even bringing it up, it's awful. They just inflate all the worst rumors. They just puff that up and like, oh, this is Pierre's coercing this, that, and the other, twisting Matt's arm so he had to step down and not join the Liberal, like all that kind of stuff. $1 million a day this guy is enduring, and he doesn't break. He's a strong man. He's ready to lead. The problem is our country is so corrupt. I don't know if he's going to get that shot.
I was going to ask you that because we know that his leadership review is due. How difficult is that going to be for Pierre Poilievre?
You know, it's sort of a chemical dynamic thing. If you ask me my honest view, Pierre Poilievre is in control of his party's rank and file. He sold hundreds of thousands of memberships to storm to the leadership, and then a huge muscular expression of power. Those people are still going to be there for him in a leadership review. The question is whether his caucus is starting to break up and break apart. These are only 2 members. But 2 is a heck of a lot when you are in the middle of this confidence vote and when you do have this leadership pending. So if there are more developments on the caucus side, if you see more members of Parliament, of Pierre Poilievre's Conservative members of Parliament saying, I'd rather resign than sit here, or I'd rather cross the floor and join the Liberal Party and the Liberal government than sit here, then it could brew huge trouble for his leadership review. Right now, he'll probably survive. Going forward, It's anyone's guess. We're living in a Yahtzee right now.
The biggest thing going forward is to vet all of the Conservative MPs and filter out all the weak losers like Chris D'Entremont, who'll do anything just to save his own skin. He'll throw his entire community under the bus to save his own skin. We'll see how that plays out in the long term.